I'm saying.
Good morning. Welcome back to my channel, guys. Happy Tuesday. I am late for a 30-minute spin session. How you late for 30 minutes? You ain't got for 30 minutes, right, Boogie? Probably gonna get maybe about 20, 25 minutes, but we are gonna try to sweat it out all the same. I'm gonna break down this lettuce. I got 2 hard-boiled eggs from my little snack bowl. Break down this full tomato, take a couple peppers, some almonds. These are some olives. Pickles are a great addition, great snack too, guys. Super low calorie. On the yes list, I'm gonna saute these mushrooms with some steak seasoning. And this is an option, like deli turkey meat, or if you got a piece of grilled chicken, something you can add into the salad. I probably won't put this in, but I wanted to put it in as an option. And then I'm just gonna break all of this down into a salad like this. Boom. All right, guys, so we've got the iceberg lettuce, fresh cucumber, tomatoes, olives, yellow and red pepper, pickles. Put some steak seasoning on these hard-boiled eggs. Put that same kind of steak seasoning on these mushrooms that I'm gonna put in the center. And then I am gonna place some just on everything. Well, it look like I just went to a restaurant. I went to this new restaurant called Yo House. All right, guys, got cleaned up. Now I'm back with another vlog message, and today I want to talk about hair color. And in particular, I want to talk about hair color as it relates to the word fear, right? So I don't know how many times I've heard folks say that I'm scared of hair color. I'm afraid of hair color. You know, there's things like roller set, even blowout or silk press, even elements, in my opinion, of hair color that folks don't have any fear of or they're not scared of, but there's certain elements. For instance, this is hair color. This is hair color, and I don't know of anybody that's afraid of a rinse or gloss or a semi-permanent color, whether it's something that you get from the beauty supply store or it's something that you get from a professional store like your Vivids, companies like that we've really grown to love with the super vivid colors that are in the box, a little bit more professional. But at the end of the day, they are a dye, right, that we're placing topically on the hair, and folks are not typically afraid of semi-permanent color. So this isn't what we're afraid of. Demi-permanent color. Color that's used for gray coverage, typically like the shades EQ that are liquid, that we pour in a low volume developer that actually enter into the cuticle and get right on that top layer, right underneath, seemingly like a tattoo on your skin, and covers gray and gives that depth or shine, depending on if we're using something like a liquid, which I believe gives us great shine and bling, or something like 1N from, let's say, Pravana, where they really don't have a demi-permanent, but with their zero lift developer, it acts like a demi-permanent, and you just apply it to gray coverage. Typically, we're using colors like 1N or black or brown. These are 7cc, which gives like a glossy copper look, or electric shop, which is like a deeper copper penny, but it doesn't lift anything. It's that word, it's lift or lighten, where things get a little bit sketchy. So even when it comes to demi-permanent, we're not scared of that. Now here's where things get a little bit interesting. I would say that bleach or lightener really affects hair at the highest level, right? Even more than permanent color. But if I had to lay out bleach like this Sunlight's lightener or any powdered lightener that you enjoy or paste lightener next to permanent color and really asked the average hairdresser, which one are you afraid of? People aren't typically afraid of lightener. They're not typically afraid of bleach. You pretty much 1-to-1, you add a scoop of lightener and an ounce of developer and it begins to lift. There's an oxidation that happens. You begin to smell, right, the peroxide from the developer entering into the ammonia into the lightener, and it lifts up. This one has a white base. Some have a blue base or a purple base or maybe other colors. And then it starts to lift their hair. It's really not a ton of formulation that's involved in it. When you see the lightness that you desire in the hair, similar to what you would see the lightener in clothes, you rinse it off. You neutralize the hair, you condition, maybe apply another demi or semi-permanent on top, maybe tone it a little bit and move on. There isn't a ton of measuring a whole lot when it comes to lightener, believe it or not. So even though this is one, and I believe skips the levels as far as permanent color, we're not as afraid of lightener. This is where the fear comes. Permanent color. And I would argue that it's not even levels like 744 or level 6 or level 5 or level 4. It's when we start to get to like level 8 or 9 or 10, when we're taking the hair traditionally. I worked on level 2s and 3s and 1s my whole career. So when we were taking, let's say level 2, which is like a natural black or a dark brown, to level 8 or 9 or 10, and we were using permanent color, that's where there would be a level of fear. We're not really afraid of color. We're afraid of the formulation. And I understand there's a level of chemistry that's involved there, but I hope to just give a couple tips today that really kind of help to take away some of that fear, because in my opinion, by walking in a beauty supply store and not going down the permanent color aisle, we're missing out on grand opportunity, guys, for hair color services, for income in our salon, and really, in my opinion, tacking on more years, months, and days in our career. There's so many services like blowouts or curling or braiding or extensions that are incredible, but they do a number on our bodies. Believe it or not, some of the people, in my opinion, that I've seen over my career that last the longest doing hair are people that are not just using their body only, but hair color uses your mind. You've got to formulate with the developer, you've got to measure, you've got to use timing, you've got to use temperature. And once you formulate and actually put it in the bowl, it's not as much elbow grease that we're using to create. So I think it actually even prolongs your career to add hair color inside of your game on a daily basis. Let's take this right here. This is a level 10. Not sure if you can see that. Let's see if it zooms in right there. This is a level 10 blonde. All right, so level 10. Now when we use 40 volume developer for lightener, that's typically something that we run away from because it's believed to be acid or super caustic, and it certainly can be, because lightener is a different product. It's a decolorizer. It's designed to just decolor and just rapidly, in most cases, lift up the hair up that scale. Permanent color is not like this bulldozer that comes through and just knocks out all of the walls of the building or takes all of the furniture seemingly out of the house and just takes everything and dumps it on the side of the road. Permanent color, and that's kind of how I view lightener. That's why you gotta be careful. It's not really designed to really be nice. It's designed to just strip that hair and get to where we want. That's why a lot of times hairstylists choose lightener, because it's fast. And gotta be honest, guys, we're artists, we're creatives, and we are impatient, right? We want things to happen now. Hurry up. Versus permanent color, most of the lines that are out there, most of the tubes that we're using, it takes anywhere from 35, sometimes up to 50 minutes to really go through the full process of what's happening. What's happening when the developer actually activates with the permanent color? If I'm using the moving example out of a house, there's some really nice movers that walk through the door. They politely open up the door, they take their time, which is the cuticle, and then they remove, which is the natural pigment in the hair, all of the furniture that's there. They politely place it outside of the door where you can rinse it off into the bowl, and then simultaneously in the same move, as they're moving out the sofa, they place in another sofa, which is made the exact same way, except it's a different color. It may be 7 copper in color. It may be a red couch like a 7RR. It may be a ash brown couch like a 8 ash. Or in this instance, it's a very, very light ashy blonde couch that they're placing right back in. See, lightener doesn't place a new color in there. This actually, like a
car with an automatic engine, it actually puts it in gear versus you having to manually place it in lift and drop. I love lift and drop. This is not against that. I made a ton of money and had a full career of actually lifting with lightener and placing on very vivid colors. If you've been following me on my YouTube channel, guys, you know some of my older videos, that's all I did on here at the beginning of my career. But I learned along the way to really use permanent color, and I was able to do more softer, muted shades of blondes and khakis and coppers and reds and sangrias and chocolates and warm browns and cinnamons, things that I could place in exactly where I wanted them to be, and they could all lift and land at the same time. So with permanent color, now when you use 40 volume, it's a lot different in processing like lightener. It actually needs 30 volume and 40 volume when you start talking about level 8s and 9s. See, we're using 20 volume a lot of times with lightener, so we bring that over to permanent color thinking that we want the developer to be a certain level, not too high, and we wind up trying to go for blonde and the hair lands at like a copper or a brassy tone. It doesn't have enough gas in the tank of the developer or enough of that active agent of peroxide to really lift the full 35 minutes that it needs. It's not a walk in, move all the furniture out in 5 minutes like lightener. It takes 35 to 45 minutes to slowly walk in, take the furniture, move it out, and then place in that new color. And you need developer, in my opinion, 30 volume, 40 volume. I like to use the example. It's not an exact science, but it's worked for me for the many years in my career. That's like 30 full minutes. That's like 40 full minutes of developer. Think about it, 20 volume, it's about 20 minutes of active ingredient. So it stops about halfway through and we get halfway through the scale. 10 volume, it's only enough to open up the cuticle, which is why oftentimes we're using 10 volume for demi-permanent, for deposit only. So when it comes to higher shades with permanent color, somebody said, well, Ray, lightener is permanent. It is permanent, but it's not permanent hair color. It permanently colors the hair, but it's not permanent color. Does that make sense?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
I hope that didn't confuse anybody. It permanently colors the hair. It lifts it up and lightens it and decolorizes it and takes out the natural pigment. But permanent color is actually lifting out the natural pigment and putting in a new permanent shade. And when you're doing that at levels of 8, 9, and 10, guys, you need 30 volume. You need 40 volume to actually have that full amount of time. It's not the enemy. It does not move like lightener. 40 volume with lightener could be dangerous. 40 volume with level 10 permanent color that takes 35 up to 50 minutes to develop is a standard practice. And with shades like 10 ash or 10 gold or 10 violet or 10 neutral, you will see that you will always choose those. And there's no real fear, because I think that if you're doing natural hair or locks or men's hair even, or weave or short hair, everybody can put that topping of color on top of whatever their services is, and it could double, sometimes triple your income. So the days of saying that we're afraid of hair color, I want to do away with that as best as I can. Now listen, guys, I go in depth on the tribe membership where I go through step by step with not only lines like Ion, but a ton of other lines and techniques, be it balayage or foils or lift and drop or permanent color, or my service that I loved in the salon called Quick Blondes. Guys, invest in the tribe membership if you need that step-by-step training. But if it's just this video that just gave you a big insight on timing or developer or what's the difference between permanent and lightener, I'm glad to be helpful, guys. But for those of you that want to join the tribe, you'll be blown away by the step-by-step training that, in my opinion, I tried to really take away the fear of cutting and blow drying and hair color, so we can take our businesses from good to great and from great to phenomenal. So that's what the education is all about. That's what I've always been about with education, but now I can reach people anywhere in the world, guys. What I love about the tribe membership is it doesn't matter if you're in a big city. For instance, I don't live in a huge city. I never have in my career. I live in a city with less than 500,000 people, and we had to always drive to education. We had to rent rooms, we had to get flights, we had to buy new outfits, because of course you got to be cute at the hair show, right? We had to eat out for 3 and 4 or 5 days. We had to leave our business business and leave money on the table. We had to get daycare if you had children, leave your family. It was a thing, right? And a major event. But now, with the advancement of technology, we don't have to go to education all the time. Education can come to us. Guys, click the link inside of this description and just look at the features and benefits of the Tribe membership. See if it's something that can help your brand and business. If you decide to join, welcome to the Tribe in advance.